Hey guys, this is a continuation of my playthrough of Dragonquest 11. Now last time I was able to complete the sort of storyline in Gallopolis and obtain this hammer, which I'm trying to get hold of. I can't remember what it's called, but the hammer that we need to forge or reforge the Sword of Light. So that's really good news. So we have got the orichalcum ore now, and we've also just picked up the hammer. So the next stage is for us to travel to Mount Huji, and again, I love the puns in all this and this game. It's continual puns all the way through, but yeah, it's quite clever. Not Fuji, Huji, but yeah. So the next step will be to go to Mount Huji and forge this sword. Not quite sure what to expect, and it's pretty sort of typical classic RPG stuff, but yeah, so I think it's a really good storyline, and yeah, it's quite exciting to think where we've come from where we were after we went to the Yggdrasil tree and everything went pear-shaped. Things are looking up, and looks like we may be moving towards the final boss and hopefully defeat him this time, but first we need the sword, so let's get started. Just to read the summary. Having set out on a quest to slay the Lord of Shadows, Aragon returns to the Sultanate of Gallopolis. There he accompanies Prince Faris on an expedition into the Celestial Sands to investigate the lettering inscribed upon Erdwin's lantern, which has started to fall from the sky. Aragon, Prince Faris and the rest of the group party eventually arrive at the ruins directly beneath it. The star's descent accelerates, and as Rab rapidly deciphers the inscription on its surface, a sinister swordsman suddenly swoops in and shatters the lantern with a single strike. Aragon and his friends attempt to work out what the word Kalasmos, which was inscribed upon Erdwin's lantern, might mean, but are unable to arrive at an answer. Nonetheless, the disaster that threatened to destroy Gallopolis has been averted. The Sultan presents the party with the forging hammer they need in order to make the Sword of Light, and they depart to continue on their quest. Yeah, so the storyline about Erdwin's lantern, it wasn't really fully explained. I'm assuming that it's going to come back in at some point, and we're going to realise what the consequences were of the that swordsman sort of cutting up the stars. A bit of a strange storyline, but hopefully it's going to make a bit more sense in due course. But I think I've spent enough time in Gallopolis now. I did spend a fair amount of time just sort of wandering around. I think there's a few side quests here as well, but I'll come back to that in the future. Our immediate objective in terms of the main story is to retrieve the ore from the battlegrounds, which we've done, and the hammer from Gallopolis, which we've done, and take them to the forge in the volcano. So I wonder if there's a pre-made forge there, or we need to actually, I don't know if we need to sort of create one, or what's the word, improvise. We shall see, but I've got a feeling it's not going to be that straightforward. One thing I found about this game is that whenever you're starting towards one particular path, it's going to call for a horse. It's quite a good system actually. Whenever you're at a loss, just ring the bell and a horse comes up. I did previously, I got the award as well for riding all the different mounts. I think this ability to ride various mounts in this game is something really novel and really a lot of fun, and all the mounts are slightly different. I was able to actually ride the mount for the Headless Horseman as well, which seemed like quite a novel idea. Looked really badass, but to be honest I didn't really like the way it handled. It was extremely slow, so back to the sort of regular horse now, but it does the job. Another course I would have liked to have ridden is what's his name, Hendrik's horse. I forgot what he's called now. Something to do with his colour. Well, it'll come back to me. Anyway, let's move on. So I think we need to go to Hoto to head to Mount Fuji. I don't think we've got a Zoom facility to Mount Fuji, unfortunately, so we're gonna have to travel there. But it's all good. I enjoy the horse travel in this game. Yeah, there's the horse that I'm not sure. Yeah, so the one that's kind of shining, you can actually ride that. It looks pretty badass, but I just didn't like the way it handled. It's very slow. But yeah, it's something I really like about the game. You dress your character up in armor and a horse, and you feel like a proper knight. And the environments in this game as well are stunning, and you just really feel as if you're living in this world. And it's also got quite a sort of light-hearted feel to it as well, which is something I quite like. I mean, some games can get like overly sort of dark, something like Pillars of Eternity, for example. It's a great game, but there is just all the way through, there's a really sort of foreboding feeling about the game. By the end of it, you're just feeling so depressed. There's nothing to look forward to. So this game does have a certain light-hearted feel, although there are some sad bits to it as well. So just I don't really want to fight these guys. I don't even know what they are. I'm pretty sure I've fought them before. Okay, so I've got my dream team ready. I think this team pretty much I'm going to stay with mainly until the end of the game. I think I want my party to really replicate the original Edwin party as much as possible, and I think the first three, the Luminary, Hendrik and Serena, they pretty much sort of mirror their respective counterparts in that original party. And then there was, so in the original party there was Edwin, Justin, so Edwin who's the Luminary, Justin who's kind of Hendrik like, Serenica who has got Serena and Veronica was supposed to be named after her. And then there was I think is the mage character, Mordican. I don't think we really have an equivalent for him, so I guess the final slot is free, but I think of the characters that I have, Jade is probably the most badass, so that's why I've put her in. I quite like Eric as well, to be honest. He's got some really good status attacks, but I don't know if it's the way I've just set him up with the daggers, but he doesn't really seem to do a lot of damage most of the time. Sometimes with special attacks he can do some crazy damage, but it's the exception rather than the norm. I probably need to sit down and figure out how to set him up properly. The other two characters, Rab and Sylvan, I'll be honest, I don't really like them as much in terms of their look, their personality. It's just a preference thing, so I normally keep them in reserve. And fortunately we've lost one through Veronica, and to be honest, I did prefer Serena as, and I quite like Serena as a more complete mage who can focus both on sort of black magic and white magic. I really like that aspect of it as well, and just help me make a sort of more of a permanent fixture in the team. So let's take these guys out quickly. Yeah, they're not doing much damage, so go for attacks or spells. I think with him I'm going to go for my fallback cutting edge. I use this a lot, it does a lot of damage. Oh, I meant to go for the other guys actually. Hendrik looks really badass in that armour, and especially with that shield as well. You do not want to mess with him. So which attack am I going to go with Serena? I think I'm going to go with this one, which is the wind attack. I'm going to go on the wizard. I don't really look like wizards, but they're called wizards. Lump wizards.